Hey friends, how you doing? So good to see you all. It is Thursday night. We are having our YouTube tarot meetup and it is time to get going. I am so happy to see you here. So let's see. Couple things. Some of you already know the right thing to do. For instance, 12-Step Tarot, thanks for being here and thanks for being a member of this channel, knows to say, this is Denise in Lutz, Florida with the Classic Weight Tarot hologram bridge size. Oh my gosh, I'm jealous. I want that deck. Seriously, tell us where you are in the world, what deck you're using. Let's see. Teresa, who is Mystics Haven, is in Georgia with Forest of Enchantment Tarot. Marion K. Tarot, so nice to see you. He's using the Somnia Tarot, first time trying it out on other people, Yahoo! And Marion is in Scotland. Let's see. So yeah, that's the first thing you want to do. Where in the world you are and what deck you're using. Jamie Saunders, thanks so much for being here and thanks for being a new member of our channel. I'm using Toth, but I have a Rider-Waite deck coming in the mail because I want to learn both together. Good call. Very good call. This is your first meeting with us, and thank you so much for being here. Okay, let's see. Jamie Saunders, you're in Palm City as well. That is fabulous. That's where I am. I am in Palm City right now, and I am using my... Man, it's just the workhorse right now. It's the universal weight that comes in the tin. Kathy, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member in Ontario using the Waite Smith deck. Horse Van Dunn, thanks for being here and thanks for being a member in New Mexico using Legacy of the Divine, one of my very favorites. Karen Winkle, nice to see you. Thanks for being a member. In Vancouver with the Everyday Witch Tarot. Okay, Disco Bunny is Kristen in Connecticut with Dark Mansion Tarot. And it is the new moon and the lunar eclipse. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Lisa Harmon in Greenville, South Carolina, using Hanson Roberts, one of my favorites, let's see. Barrett Ermy. Right, and it's the full moon, of course. It couldn't be an eclipse if it's not a full moon, right? And I'd like to actually talk about that if we could, even before we get to readings. I know this breaks format, but what the heck? Even before we get to readings, what are your thoughts about working with the full moon and the eclipse? There are some people who deal with it like the same way they do with void of course moon, where we just don't do any manifestation work at all. For me, I feel like the eclipse is such a powerful time to let go, because the full moon supports us in bringing things to us. But the eclipse is this whole thing of what has brought darkness to you and what can you let go of? What has gotten in the way of your light and how can you release it? So I'd like to do some work with that here tonight, but I'd love to hear your thoughts about working with the full moon during a lunar eclipse. Okay, let's see. Barrett's here. You're in Boston using Tattoo Tarot. Very good. Let's see. Night Wisdom Tarot is in Lebanon. What deck are you working with? Glad you're here. Okay. Hey, Barrett Ermy, you have rejoined and become a member again. Thank you so much. Applause for that. Yay. Yay. And let's see. Ashriel, thank you for being here. Thanks for being a member. Classic Tarot in British Columbia. That's your workhorse. Very good. Smile Soul 20 in Connecticut using the Classic Weight deck. So glad, so glad. Yolanda, thanks for being here. And Yolanda, Smile Soul 20, Ashriel, thank you all so much for being members here. In the armpit of the South, you're in Florida, right where we are, using the Rider-Waite. Very good. Lady Lenormand, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. It's Brenda from Delray Beach. using the Radiant Waite Smith. Right, that closet full of decks we don't use, right? Some decks are just to be collected, right? It's true. It's true. Right. So, talking about that lunar eclipse, Horace Van Dunn says used for release. Moonlight Tarot, I do spells in the full moon. Right, but what about when it's an eclipse? That's the question. How does the eclipse change the energy? That's the question. Disco Bunny, Kristen, manifest to release the old. Absolutely, yes. Karen Winkle, if there's something you want to release, the eclipse is a great time to do it. I agree. Jamie says that Buddhism says all your work is magnified 700,000 times during a lunar eclipse. I'm not Buddhist, but a close friend is. That's awesome. So this eclipse is damaging to the zodiacs from Moonlight Tarot. What does that mean, though? Can you explain that? Let's see. Barrett Ermy is also using Marchetti Tarot. Very good. Hey, Kim, nice to see you. And Marian, I release the old and what no longer serves. Also, as for working with eclipse energy, I use it to amplify. This full moon is exactly conjunct my natal sun. So interesting. Interesting. Hey, Marcos Herring, who's really Anna, using the Ferric Pinter Tarot. Nice to see you. Okay, very good, very good. I'm so glad you're all here. I hope I saw everybody's introduction. And again, thank you so much to the members. You know who a member is because their name is in green. Members are people who have made a monthly commitment to this channel, and we really appreciate that. So we usually do start with burning questions, and I think we'll get going with that. But first, you know what I did this afternoon? I went to the hotel where the in-person conference, StarCon, is going to be. Of course, we're going to be online on Excel events and in person in Palm Beach Gardens. And I was there today, checking out the rooms and looking at all the things, which I'd seen before, but not for a couple of years. And I am so excited. It is going to be so lit and so good. And for the online portion, Excel Events now has an app. And so for those of us who are in person, we can use the app to help navigate the conference and to communicate with those who are there online and to find our friends who are somewhere else in the hotel. And for those who are going to be watching and being part of the conference, participating in the conference online, certainly a big screen is a good thing. But if you can't sit in front of your big screen for 2 whole days, you've got an app. And that should be a really great thing. And of course, that app will work for all of us for the 30-day StarCon Afterglow, where we'll have the opportunity to watch the recordings of the classes, do a couple of live events on Excel events. So that's going to be fun as well. So very good. I also want to, hey, Zenobia, nice to see you. Glad you're here. Thanks for being here for the first time. Let us know where in the world you are and what deck you're working with. All right. So, we have a free class on Monday. We're going to do an Oracle card workshop. So get out, dust off all your Oracle decks because we're going to be talking about them. All right. So I'm scrolling back to the top. We're going to do some burning questions. And we'll do that for about 20 minutes, and then we'll get into some tarot study. So if you have a burning question, the sort of question that requires a reading, go ahead and put your question in. I'll take them in the order I see them. The way this works is this. I will verbally answer the question with one card, and I'll show you the card. Anyone else who would like to do the reading will put the name of the person they're reading for, the name of the card they got, and their interpretation. And so if we're reading for you, don't just listen to me. Make sure you scroll down and see everybody else's comments as well. All right, so let's start. So the first one I see is Moonlight Tarot. What is Adele's attention toward me right now? Is he really wanting to reconcile right now? So if you'd like to do this reading at Moonlight Tarot, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. 10 of Cups reversed, I would say no, not at this time. All right, White Magic Witch, a similar sort of question. What are my ex's feelings toward me? If you'd like to do this reading at White Magic Witch, the name of the cards you got and your interpretation. Okay, 10 of Wands. I think he feels like you made his life harder for whatever reason, whether that's true or not. I think that's how he's feeling. All right, Maria Miri. If the guy I was dating is in a romantic relationship right now, sure. If you'd like to do this reading at Maria Miri, the name of the cards you got and your interpretation. 9 of Pentacles. I could go either way with that. Unclear. And I think the question really, I think this card goes back to you and says, why does it matter? How does it affect you, really? Is really how I'd interpret that, truly. Okay, Moonlight Tarot using the Cosmic Tarot. That's so good. Night Wisdom Tarot is using the Rider-Waite deck. Very, very good. All right. Scrolling down, looking for the next question. Okay, here we go. Horse Van Dunn has a question. And again, Horse Van Dunn, thank you so much for being a member here. May I ask how my dear friend will fare financially? She has given permission. Sure, if you'd like to do this reading at Horse Van Dunn, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. 6 of Wands, perhaps better than expected. And I only say that because normally when people ask how they're going to do financially, it's because they're afraid it's not going to be good. But this would suggest things will be just fine. Okay. All right. I am... Oh, and Moonlight Tarot, you're in France using the Cosmic Tarot. Very good. Very good. And I am just scrolling down here. Looking for the next question, which I think is Mystic's Haven, who, and we know what her name actually is because she told us, and I've got the memory of a freaking sieve. So now I'm scrolling back because I don't want to misname her, but I know Teresa. It is Teresa. That's what I thought. Okay, so Teresa, who is Mystic's Haven, has the next question. Of course, now I got to scroll back to that. All right, here it is. What would be helpful for me to know about my life after my upcoming divorce a year after separation? All right. So if you'd like to do this reading at Mystic's Haven, the name of the cards you got and your interpretation. The Lovers. So to me, this says it may be getting time to think about welcoming a new relationship, that you have gone through enough healing and learned enough that you could trust yourself and love. Okay, and back to the question about doing magic with the lunar eclipse. Moonlight Tarot says, I think it has side effects on us, bad effects. We have to be careful. Dave says, nice to see you, Dave. Dave says, doing a lunar eclipse, we get the Earth's energy bounced back at us. I guess it depends on whether you think that's a good thing or not. Moonlight Tarot, every zodiac will feel tension and anger, not feeling well. And Barrett is charging his crystals with full moon and eclipse by putting them in the window. All right. Let's see. And I see people doing readings. Very, very, very good. Very good. And let's see. 12-step tarot from Tuesday's class. I wish I could see how she drew the closed doors. I know. I am so sorry I didn't take more pictures. At the time, I was just like, oh, I've got to show people. And I didn't put it together in my head, how the class would be. I might reach out to her and see if she'd just snap a picture of it for me. I bet she still has it. So if I can get it, I'll share it. I remember there was a sad dog face looking out the window of the closed door because the dog was one of the doors that had closed. As I said, it was so sad. Okay. Hey, Cheryl Jefferson, nice to see you using the Modern Witch Tarot. Okay. And Zenobia is in Atlanta. From New York, working with any deck that calls me tonight. I didn't pick one yet. And Rick, nice to see you here in Dallas, Fort Worth, using Tarot of Dreams. Hey, friends, tell me something. Those of you who use Tarot of Dreams, I really love the images, but I can't wrap my head around the palace cards. And yeah, I know I could just read the book, but I haven't. Any thoughts on how you interpret the palace cards? Just tag it palace and tell me, give me something. Give me something. All right. Let's see. Okay, I think we're on to the next question. And Barrett's working with the Spirit Animal Oracle. That's great, but this is tarot. Use tarot, but Spirit Animal Oracle for Monday. Use that for Monday. That's going to be awesome. And Lisa recently got the Moonology Oracle cards. Very good. Okay, Barrett, do we see you going full-time in tarot next year? Does that mean quitting your day job? Let's take a look. If you would like to do this reading at Barrow Ermi Tarot, the name of the card you got and your interpretation, full-time next year as a tarot reader, the Hierophant. That is a very interesting card. Excuse me, depending on how one would interpret this card, I could see a yes or a no on this. But let us just say if you keep working on it, it is a possibility. Really. Oh, okay. Next question from Cheryl Jefferson. You remember her, Cheryl Witch. No, seriously. And I mean that in the best possible way, one witch to another. Cheryl Jefferson, what is a good way to protect my energy from energy vampires? Yeah. If you would like to do this reading at Cheryl Jefferson, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. Two of Wands. You have to recognize that they are energy vampires first. And once you recognize it, you have to sort of have a plan in action. That as soon as you recognize someone is an energy vampire, what are you going to do? And that should be something that should encompass what you do with your mind, what you do spiritually, and what you do in your actions. So it's all about having a good plan. Okay, Karen Winkle. We have a really desperate group this year for Thanksgiving. How will it go? If you'd like to do this reading at Karen Winkle, the name of the card you got and your interpretation, I think it's going to be great. I really do. Now, with the Six of Wands, there can be competitive energy. And people may have different opinions, and we want to have certain conversations just not even possible. And it would be good to play some games, play games. Okay, next one, Jamie Saunders. So nice to see you here. And again, thank you for being a new member. There's a group I've started working with magically. A lot of strange things have been happening whenever we get working. Is this natural or is something working against us? Very interesting question. If you'd like to do this reading at Jamie Saunders, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. Nine of Swords. I would say option C, neither. Not natural, not someone working against you, but something having to do with the energy in the group itself. Maybe there are members of the group who need a great deal of healing, and wherever you're putting your energy, it needs to go toward that healing. All right, Lisa Harmon, and thank you for being a new member here. Will I find the right piece of land before the new year? If you'd like to do this reading, at Lisa Harmon, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Nine of Cups reversed. It may not happen in that time frame. That's not to say it won't happen, but it may not happen in that time frame. Okay, Yolanda, what is changing for me for the rest of November? If you'd like to do this reading at Yolanda, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What is changing? Ace of Pentacles, stuff at your job. And I'm not saying you're getting a different job, but within the job, within the company you're working for, there are changes. And I see everybody doing readings. Thank you so much for doing this. Thanks for playing. Okay. Okay. Oh, and Lady Lenormand, thank you so much for the super sticker. Really, really appreciate it. Super chats and super stickers are another way that you can support this channel and support this broadcast. It is much appreciated. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I lost my place here. Okay. Here we are. I'm back where I was, looking for the right question. Night Wisdom Tarot. How can I win my ex's heart again? If you'd like to do this reading at the Night Wisdom Tarot, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. 10 of Wands. It may not be possible and it may not be advisable. Okay, and again, lots of great readings happening. Thank you so much. All right, and here we go. Marion, burning question. If I meet David for a coffee, will I be bored? I have a feeling I might be. All right, if you'd like to do this reading at Marion K. Tarot, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. Ace of Swords reversed. I don't know if you'll be bored, but I also don't know if you'll be interested. It's a very interesting question. I think you kind of have to check it out and see. It could go a lot of different ways. All right. So the floor is still open for questions. And we are going to open the floor for questions about tarot. What would you like to know about tarot? Ashriel had a really interesting question that I wanted to play with. Having to do with how do you handle it if you get a reading with another reader and what they say to you gives you anxiety, and has that ever happened to you? And I'm assuming that has happened to Ashriel. I would love to I would love to know, who has that happened to? Has that happened to anyone? What are your thoughts there? I mean, my own readings for myself have given me anxiety, but typically only when it was something that I really needed to know, typically. Okay, let's see. Lots of great readings here. Okay, Erica. Oh, Sheila, I missed your question. I'll go back and find it. I'll do Erica and then I'll go back and find it. Okay, should I continue with getting my medical assistant certification? Oh, and Ashriel, thank you for reposting. It looks like I missed a whole swath here, so I'll go back and find it. But we'll do Erica right now. Should I continue with getting my medical assistant certification? If you'd like to do this reading, at Erica, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. It is not easy, but yes, indeed, you should do it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm going to go back and see if I can find the questions that I missed. Oh, I see D9 as well. I missed you. So we will get to you as well. And some people have been reading for Sheila, certainly. Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm going to do Sheila now. I feel stuck in life. What is my next best move to heal and get unstuck? And some people have already started doing this one. If you'd like to do this, at Sheila Lawyer, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Seven of Wands, you have to figure out what you want to do, and you have to do it even if other people think it's silly. You have to have better boundaries with other people so that you can grow in your own energy. Okay. And Ashriel, I know I missed you as well. And tell you what, I'm going to scroll back to where Ashriel reposted, and then I'll come back up. Okay, Ashriel, burning question. I recently wrote a personal manifesto. Any messages from Spirit as to how I can fully support it? All right, if you would like to do this reading, at Ashriel Knight, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation, what do you see there? Ace of Swords reversed. Believe in it fully, trust it fully, and know that it is good. I'm turning it right side up to support this energy for you. And Erica, it's your first time here. Thanks for being here. That's fabulous. Okay. And Delia Lassie, who likes to do healing spells on the lunar eclipse. Can I ask if I'm going to meet my future husband in 2022? All right, if you'd like to do this reading, at Delia Lassie, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Three of Cups reversed. You know, I would never say never, but it's not like the most likely thing. And so there may be things that you need to do more proactively to make it happen. Okay. I am now sort of okay. And as regards the palace cards, Horse Van Dun, just put them aside. Love Marchetti, but enough cards already, right? Marion, palace cards. I read them as the physical space of the suit they represent. Also, they have come up as indicators of childhood home life. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, I so appreciate that. Much appreciated. Okay. And Barrett suggests going back to the spirit vampires. I think that was Cheryl. Black tourmaline as a good protector. Okay, D9. Sorry I skipped over you the first time. Glad you're here. I had a job interview for a position out of state. Will I get it? If you would like to do this reading, at D9, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Let's see what we have here. Two of Pentacles, you might. It's possible. I think at the very least, you're going to like make the cut. You may have to do another interview. It's either you or like you're coming down to like you and one other candidate. So it's quite possible. And Peggy Lou, nice to see you. Glad you didn't forget us. And thanks for being a member here. All righty. I am scrolling. Lots of great readings. My goodness. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Hey, Pamela Thies, nice to see you. Okay, Peggy Lou Levens, what can I do to earn money so I can see StarCon? Strength reverse. There are many ways to skin a cat. Seriously, shoot me an email. There are many ways to skin a cat. Not that we really want to skin any cats, but that seemed appropriate with strength, right? All right. So now we are at last call for readings. Last call for readings. And here it is. We've got one more. Pamela Thies. I've seen 2 black bears in 2 days. What is the greater message from bear spirit for me right now? I love this question so much. And I got the 8 of Pentacles reversed. And how is that a message from bear spirit? I think it has to do about what you already know, to acknowledge what you already know, to know that you know what you already know. All right, last call for readings, y'all, and the floor is open for questions about reading. I want us to do a lunar eclipse spread together. We are also going to play with Ashriel's question, when a reading gives you anxiety. And any other questions about tarot that you might have. I've posed 2 today and got answers. Hey, Zuri, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. I posed the question about doing magic with the lunar eclipse. Got a mix of answers, because everyone has their own way to play with it. And I also posed the question about the palaces in the Tarot Marchetti decks that have them. So thank you for answering my questions. So the question that was posed by Ashriel is, what do you do? Like if you have another reader read for you in this format or in any format, and they say something to you that gives you anxiety, what do you do with that? And, I would say I have done readings about all kinds of things. I mean, my joke, and this is true, back in like 2019, when I decided to make StarCon a thing, I kept pulling cards on it, and it was the Tower. It was always the Tower. And I planned this conference for 2021, and of course, COVID, and 2022, and still, COVID is a concern and is an issue to some extent. Of course, we're hybrid now, and that was the gift of it. But I got the Tower and I kept on going. And so a card for me, if it's a card that I read myself that gives me anxiety, I make note of it and I say, okay, am I still going to do this or am I not? And if I'm not, I'm not. But if I am, I'm just going to remember that card. I had a recent situation with a family member where something unfortunate happened with a family member and I saw it coming. I couldn't tell the family member I saw it coming because it would not have helped. And that's a horrible feeling. I hate that feeling. And I realize how ridiculous this is, but you can almost feel guilty for it. Like you feel guilty for seeing it, even though you didn't create it. So I really understand these things. Now, anxiety that comes from something another reader said to me, very often I'll just blow that off. I got to tell you, that's just me though. So how do y'all handle these things? And anyone who has a story about it, I'd love to hear the story. And again, appreciate all of the readings that are happening. And if you have asked for a reading, make sure you scroll through and look at all the comments because you got yourself a big reading. So go ahead and hang on a minute here. We have to remove someone. We have to remove someone. and report them. Okay. Very good. Sorry. There it is. All right. So, and that's why we're here on YouTube, because that's really hard to do on Facebook. So that's why we're here. All right. Betty, anxiety, I'd say chuck it in the fuck it bucket. Yeah, I always think about the late great Donald Michael Craig, who would say, whatever you're going to do, if you do a divination about it and the divination is not favorable, you're still going to do it anyway. So just do what you're going to do. Kim, nice to see you. Thanks for being a member here. What gives me anxiety is when the reader misunderstands the intention of my question. About a guy not respecting my boundaries, a friend gave me a reading that amounted to, he's attracted to you. Which, frankly, may be the case, but not helpful, right? Okay, Dave, tarot question. What are your criteria for whether to tell a querent what you get or not? I'm confused by the story you told us about your family member and not telling them what you saw. Yeah, well, they didn't ask, and it's not a client, it's a family member. If it's a client, and everybody, I'd love to have you ring in on this. What do you say and how do you say it and when do you say it? Tag it bad news. And I always want to think about like the harm that I could do if I'm right and the harm that I could do if I'm wrong. If there is something that gives a person agency, hey, I don't think you should do this because, or, do this in order to avoid this. If there's an agency that I can give them to make a situation better, I will by all means let them know, it is better. If you do this, it'll make this situation better. If it's something coming and there's nothing we can do about it, and therefore knowledge is not going to be helpful to them, I'm not going to give it to them. It's not, there's some things forewarned is forearmed. Other times it's really not. And, the universal safeguards, the idea that there are universal safeguards, that if you're not supposed to see something, you won't. There are things that are glaring things that later happen that we don't see. And we can say, universal safeguards. But sometimes we see things and don't really feel comfortable saying them. So I think it's a very, very personal thing. And I think you have to do what feels right for you, each and every one of us. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Horse Van Dun. Yeah, we want everybody in on this one. And Marion K. Tarot, anxiety with readers. Unless it's you, ignore it and call it BS. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Lady Lenormand, I agree with Christiane. I usually don't take it to heart. If it really bothers me, I do my own reading or meditation on it. Zuri, you realize that they may be seeing a particular trajectory or direction, but it's just one possibility, not carved in stone. Take it with a grain of salt, pull some cards, and see how you can turn it. So Kim came back to her situation. I just avoid asking that reader about that topic until I'm more grounded about it to let it roll off. Right. And back to you, Zuri, how you can turn it around or see the lesson in it. Right. Peggy Lou, on anxiety, I like to tell them forewarned is forearmed, and God won't give you anything you can't handle. And Rick, regarding the palace cards, palace could be an environment where you currently find yourself, or it could show a potential or opportunity for you to create your own environment. I love that. Thank you so much for that. That's helpful. Barrett, I get the tower sometimes and it gives me anxiety, and then the situation ends up working out for the best, right? Disco Bunny, regarding anxiety, tarot is always translation. Translators can get it wrong, so other interpretations don't upset me. I get anxiety when I read for me and see it, but not as clearly and level-headed as for others. Barodermy regarding bad news. If I see it or feel it, a lot of love around someone, it usually means they're going to pass away. And I've been right just about every time, but I will keep my mouth shut. Kim question. Do you feel sometimes the tarot is telling the reader something that isn't really meant to tell the client, but just to help the reader be more helpful? Sure. Or sometimes I feel like, you know, after all these years of doing this, there are things I think that should have shown up that didn't. And there are things that have shown up that I can't tell you why the heck they showed up. I just kind of trust if there is a reason, there is. And if there's not, there's not. And I'll just do the best I can with what I get. And there it is. And I don't know. You know, the more I know, the less I know. That is what I can tell you. After being a full-time reader for 30 years, about the things I'm sure of is how much I love doing it and how helpful I can see it can be for people every single day. But I can also say that it's an art, not a science, and every day is different and every reading's different. And as soon as you try to categorize, like, well, it's always this way or it's always that way, it's not. There's no always in tarot reading, I'm pretty sure. Marion, bad news. I don't really read cards about family members unless they ask. As for clients, it depends in the moment. Yep. Absolutely. Peggy Lou, if someone has bad anxiety, I try to help them ground, breathe, relax. Or if I feel that it's off, I tell them my connection is off right now, or I'll get a different deck or oracle or something like that. Barrett, I stopped doing relationship readings, reading other people's energies that aren't present, and don't give me permission because that gives me anxiety sometimes. So this is interesting because we started out talking about the anxiety that is caused when we get a reading or give ourselves a reading, but then there's also the anxiety that is caused when we're reading for others, right? And you know, the other thing is that psychic people, I was just talking with a client about this just like an hour ago. Psychic people tend to be fairly anxious people. Not all of us, but a lot of us. It's true. So there's that too. There's that. So yeah, I think boundaries is key, and everybody's got to do what feels right for them and what feels right in the moment, and every moment's going to be different. And so it's hard. Here's a follow-up question from Kim. Do you ever knowingly not say something you see because it doesn't feel useful? Or do you try to convey everything? Or is it not possible to convey everything so you pick and choose? Well, it depends. If the client is open and the client has the time, we have the time on the table, I will try to convey every single thing I see, every single thing. If the client is not open, I'm not going to waste their time or mine trying to convey something that they are clearly not ready to hear because I've tried in that situation and they're not hearing it. So I'm not going to keep trying, but there are times I will, where I'll say to a client, look, I get you don't want to talk about this, but it is all over your cards. And maybe the way I worded it didn't make sense. So I'm going to try different wording and I apologize. I am like a dog with a bone with this. I'm going to try again. And so sometimes I will and sometimes I won't. And again, it depends on time. If I'm working like an agency gig where I have, 5 minutes to do the reading, I'm just going to do the most important hits or the most entertaining hits because I'm there to entertain. If I have an hour in my office, it's a different story. So it all depends. It depends on time. It depends on the client. It depends on all of it. Pamela, medication is sometimes necessary for anxiety, and that can be absolutely helpful. Hell to the yes. Better living through chemistry is a real thing. Oh, yes. Dave, psychic people feel very deeply. The emotions are rooted across several dimensions. Just let's embrace it, right? Jamie, re-psychics and anxiety. Absolutely. It's hard to hold the thoughts and emotions from a crowd in a single human body and mind. Yep. Absolutely. And there I think shielding is so important, like don't leave the house without your psychic condom. Seriously. Shield, always shield. Kim, sometimes my heart disappears and I have a butterfly there instead. My doctor says this is anxiety. So apparently I'm anxious even at times I don't feel anxious. Sure. Sure. And, anxiety, we all experience anxiety, but then there is generalized anxiety disorder, which is a disorder, so there's all kinds of things, right? That hook into anxiety. Absolutely. So, Ashriel, was that helpful? Was that where you expected that to go or wanted that to go? It was such an interesting question. I appreciate it. All right. And Barrett has now hashtagged psychic condom. Yeah, Lisa, I'm on antidepressants and it's done wonders. Yeah. If you need it and you can find the right medication at the right dosage, it is so helpful. Yes, you've never heard psychic condom because it's my expression. I invented it and I like it. Absolutely. Other people will say, wrap yourself in white light. Use your psychic shielding. What do I say? Put on your psychic condom. Let's go. Yeah, there it is. Lady Lenormand, I used to do readings with a pen and paper. Christiana helped me realize that tarot cards themselves can be good energetic shields. Yeah. Yeah, if you are a natural psychic, using the cards can help give you a little space between you and the energy. That's absolutely right. Right, and Yolanda says clinical anxiety or functional anxiety, right? Exactly. All right. Jamie, that's practical magic, right? 100%. 100%. Yes. All right, let's do a final exercise. Unless if anyone else has any tarot questions, we've got a couple of minutes. Fairy Godmother says psychic condom. I'm down with that. Thank you. Yes. I would love to hear what the doctor has to say, Lisa, when you say to the doctor that you are using a psychic condom. A lot of doctors I know are like right down with that. They will totally get it. Absolutely. All right. Rick, how do you know when you're ready to do readings full time or when you should pull the trigger? So I think in a lot of ways, that is a financial question. And it's like, do you have enough clients? Like, are your clients banging on your door? Assuming you need to work to live and assuming you're working a regular job. Are your clients banging on your door to the point that you are essentially now working 2 full-time jobs? And is that happening for 3 months or more? And in doing this work, do you feel energized? Do you feel okay? Do you feel like you want to do it? So I think you've got to have the client demand. You've got to be enjoying it enough. And you have to have a business plan for your way forward. That's when you know when it's time. That's what I would think. Mystics Haven, I say turn on my bug zapper. I love it. Okay. Dave, are there some crystals that help protect you, like selenite? Yeah, but if you don't do the energetic work too, like crystals help, but if you feel like I had a conversation with someone the other day, and she's having all this energy drain. I'm like, so what are you doing? What are your practices? And she's like, well, I've got this image here, and I've got this crystal there, and I'm like, no. What are you doing? You can have all the tools in the world around you, but if you're not working with them, if you're not doing the work, not going to help. Horse Van Dunn, feel too much energy bouncing around. Have to work on sphere of light for boundary. All right. Oh, good, Ashra. Glad you like that. And Rick, thank you for a good question. All right, so let's do a lunar eclipse spread. And if you want to, if you have cards that like really strike you and make a lot of sense and you like them, definitely share them. If you have cards you don't understand, share them. Peggy Lou, I read somewhere that if you're depressed, you're living in the past. Anxiety is worrying about the future. We have to stay in the present moment, the now. You know, or you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. You know, I mean, that's possible too. I had someone say that to me, you know, that depression is from the past, anxiety is the future. I get that, but there's also brain chemistry and heredity and learned behaviors and all other kinds of things there. Okay. All right. So, lunar eclipse. Let's, you know, since the full moon tends to be about what we can grow, and the eclipse can be about what we release, let's do two cards. What I'm releasing and what I'm growing. All right? A 2-card spread. A 2-card spread. You guys are way too sweet. Thank you, Barrett. All right, 2-card spread, what I'm releasing and what I am growing. Okay, I am releasing confusion and anxiety, and I'm growing something that can sit on a firm foundation. All right, go ahead and share. We're in our final 6 minutes. So now is a good time to drop your shameless self-promotion. Your YouTube channel, your website, your blog post, your social media. I'm asking everyone to follow both me and StarCon on Instagram and Twitter. That's Christiana Tarot and StarCon, STAARCON. StarCon is coming. Get your tickets. STAARCON.com. And also, we have a class at the end of the month, Tarot Communication for Depth and Clarity. How does tarot communicate to us about the body? How does tarot help us communicate with each other? All the ways that tarot is a tool of communication. That's what we're going to be working on. It will be a great class. You can get your tickets on my website, christianagodet.com. And Pamela, for me with anxiety disorder, brain chemistry was huge and key for finding help. Having anxiety and depression disorders are much different than just anxiety, for sure. For sure. Oh, Mystic's Haven, releasing the Emperor, gaining 2 of Swords. And 2 of Swords, of course, can be peace and the ability to make your own decisions. I think that's all about getting the divorce behind you. That's how I see it. Absolutely. Okay, we got 4 minutes. So, I got 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes. So go ahead, drop your shameless self-promotion and your exercise. Release Ace of Pentacles, reverse, grow, King of Swords. Oh, Ashriel, and you wrote your manifesto. That is brilliant because the King of Swords is a writer. And releasing the Ace of Pentacles reverse, for me, that's like about releasing feeling ungrounded, releasing feeling impoverished. That's good stuff. Oh, Betty, releasing the High Priestess and gaining the Magician. You're coming out. Seriously, the way I see it is that you've been doing this internal work for the longest time, and now it's going to be external. Reading for others, sharing your energy with others, sharing your light with others with more confidence. Good stuff. Karen Winkles, releasing the 7 of Wands, defensiveness, and gaining the 3 of Cups, having more fun. Hallelujah. And building community. Disco Bunny, releasing the 10 of Pentacles and the 2 of Pentacles, inviting change. Very good. Oh, Peggy, releasing the Five of Cups, releasing growth and growing, winning. You're gonna be winning. Lisa, that's interesting. Releasing the Magician reversed, growing the Four of Wands reversed. That is very interesting. The releasing the Magician reversed makes sense because it's like releasing closed-mindedness. And I would say growing without limitation is what I would say. Yolanda, releasing the Page of Pentacles to gain the Page of Cups. I love that they're both pages. I think that's wonderful. And in a lot of ways, they could both have to do with your job. Releasing one career to gain another is one way I would see it. There are others. Kathy, releasing the Two of Wands and growing the Eight of Swords. So that's an interesting thing. And I would really look at that and sort of say, is there something going on in your life where you are limiting yourself in a way that is not helpful to you? Peggy Lou Levens, the help button for members, which you are. If you go to the emoji and hit it down at the bottom, you go to the emoji and hit it, you'll see the custom emojis for members only, and there they are. Dave, growing the Page of Wands, increasing my outreach and efforts to expand my awareness, releasing the Hierophant, trying to release my rigid mindset. Yep. Kim, release Five of Cups, settling for what makes me more sad than happy, and growing the Six of Pentacles, sharing with others. But also, I mean, I think that could be about your own professional work as a reader. Could be the Six of Pentacles. Jamie, releasing the Two of Cups and growing the Five of Cups, which sounds like nothing good. Yeah, I would look at what's going on for you emotionally and where relationships are concerned and where expectations around relationships are concerned and narratives around relationships are concerned, and see if there needs to be some changes made there. Barrett, you said help, but I don't know why. Oh, that was the example. Got it. Friends, okay. Zuri has dropped her shameless self-promotion. Yacht Zuri Shop, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and FB. Releasing the Ten of Swords and growing the Page of Swords. Hallelujah. Sheila, releasing the Ten of Pentacles and growing the Six of Cups. So that would be a lot of childhood healing. Healing your inner child. My goodness, yes. All right, my friends, I want to thank you so much for being here. A special shout out to our members. Special thank you to Lady Lenormand for the super sticker. And again, we have a class right back here on Monday with your oracle cards. Bring your oracle cards. Join us here on Monday. And you will notice that our links are up for all of our December's classes. For all of our December's classes and meetups. Obviously, the weekly live readings, I put those up like the day of or the day before. And I will be back tomorrow at noon for your Friday weekly wrap-up. I appreciate all of you. Get your StarCon tickets. Seriously. Remember that the lowest tier of StarCon is $50. And that gets you 6 classes each day. So 12 classes altogether. So remember that, StarCon can be very affordable. That's the thing to remember. All right. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so very much. Look forward to seeing you soon. Take good care.